Hello everyone, and welcome back for another Kids Church Live lesson today. It is going to be a super fun one. Let me just get our video pulled up here on my computer. And I am going to put the supply list in the comments so you guys can grab the supplies necessary today. We are going to be learning about building a house, and you'll see how that connects with Pastor John's sermon from Sunday. So hopefully we'll have some friends jumping on and joining us today. My computer is not working for some reason. See what's going on there. So I hope you guys are having a good week so far. Summer is here, finally. On Monday we were doing or Tuesday, our youth group online, and it was pouring down rain and it did not feel like summer very much. But now we have some sunshine, and I know you guys are probably super excited for a break in school. So there is our supply list. So we are going to be making little houses today at the end of our lives. So let me open us up in prayer, and hopefully some friends will hop on and join us too. Father God, we thank you for another Kids Church Live. We thank you for the way that we can connect using technology, and we just pray that you would bring the right families and people who need to see this video today, who need this encouragement. Open our hearts, speak to our hearts, encourage us, God, through reading your word, and help us to remember that you are with us and you love us always. And all God's children said, amen. All right, well, I wanted to share just a couple of announcements. So our first announcement is that this Sunday we are having our Facebook Live and online worship live at 9 a.m. like we've been doing for the past few months. So stay tuned for that. We're continuing our series on men and women in the Bible. And then we're also doing something new this Sunday. So we're trying out something new for Father's Day, and we're going to be keeping it going through the summer. Is an 11 o'clock worship service in the parking lot at church. So a little bit different, a little bit fun. So this Sunday we're calling it Dad's Donuts and Drive-In. So it'll be at 11 a.m. And so we hope you guys will join us for that. I'll be putting a sign up. You have to sign up online to attend, and I'm going to be sharing that link on our Facebook and social media pages in a little bit today. So make sure to have your parents sign up online to attend. It's going to be a really fun way to do Father's Day and to get to be together in your cars at church. So a fun little community that way. All right, so every Kids Church Live, we start off with an intro question, an introduction question to get us kind of pre-thinking about what we are going to read. And so today is no different. We are going to be talking about Job a little bit, and we're also going to be talking about houses. So I thought a fun introduction question would be, what does your dream house look like? And so leave a comment down below, whether you're watching this live right now or if you're watching the replay. We'd love to read your comments. So what does your dream house look like? Where would you build your dream house? And what would you include inside? So I'm really curious to find out from you guys, what would your dream house look like and be like? So I'll share my answers. So Juan and I have been watching a lot of YouTube videos in the evenings about tiny houses. And so there's this whole movement of people either living in like a renovated school bus or a motorhome, or building like a little house on a trailer that you can drive all over the place. And so Juan and I have been having a ton of fun watching those videos. And so I feel like maybe that's not like our dream house, but that's kind of like something that we just think would be really cool to have, a tiny house that we could live in, but also be able to travel. And it would be so neat to be able to take it like to the beach or to a campsite or to the mountain and stay in our home but get to see the world. So Juan and I really like tiny houses. And I'll put these questions in the comments too, so sometimes it's easier to see the questions if you're hopping on later. And what would I include inside? Inside of my dream house, I would definitely want a super comfy bedroom and sofa. So I love taking naps, and Juan and I like just watching a movie or curling up, and so I definitely need to have a really comfy sofa and bed. And I would love to put like little twinkle lights, like Christmas lights up inside that are just always up, because I think those are fun. And I would also want like some sort of office or desk area, whether it's for working on my business, or I love to write and create and draw, and so having some sort of desk space would be important in whatever house I am in. And then, let's see, other dream house requirements. It'd be really cool if it had a pool. I would love to have a pool. But I feel like in Oregon that's kind of a waste because it's only sunny enough to use a pool a few months out of the year. So thinking about our dream house. I see the Sanders family and Tully is watching. Awesome. So Gus said the door would be red and the inside blue, and it would be really big. That would be really fun to have a red door. I used to want a house that was all yellow because yellow is one of my favorite colors. But it would be really cool to have a red door. That would be awesome. And then Bia said she would have lots of animals. That would be neat too. I don't have any pets, so I don't know that there would be a lot of room in our house for a big zoo. But it would be fun to have some animals in your house. All right, and Tully says yes to leave a little early at 10. Sounds good, Tully. And Tully, we're talking about houses. So Tully, leave a comment below. What would your dream house look like? Also, I'm curious, where would you guys build your dream house? Would you build at the beach? Would you build it on a mountain? Would you build it in the middle of a neighborhood? Where would you guys want to have your house for a location? So definitely leave a comment with that too. So it's just kind of neat to dream and think about what would my dream house look like. Juan and I go for walks every morning, and this morning we walked to church because I had to drop something off there, and it was fun to walk by as they're building all those houses along, Beckman Road, and just thinking about, wow, like some of them looked really massive, they're next to the Street of Dreams houses, and so it's just neat to kind of imagine what would our dream house look like. So as I jump in and talk, if you guys have any more you would want to share about your dream house, be sure to comment that below. And so Pastor John was talking about the book of, and the person Job on Sunday, and so we've been trying to do these kids church videos to kind of coordinate with his sermons. And so the story of Job is really an interesting story. So basically, if you guys missed worship on Sunday, Job went through a really hard time. Oh, we have a few more house comments. Bia says building the house by the beach. That would be really neat to see the waves and sunsets on the beach. That would be really fun, Bia. And Layla wants a pink house. Pink would be really fun. I think, Layla, weren't you a little house one year for Halloween? I think I remember you wearing a little house costume, which I thought was really neat. And Tully says, it would take a year for me to explain what I want my dream house to look like. All right. So Tully has big plans for his dream house, which is awesome. Growing up, I would draw. I loved drawing houses, and I would create all these like elaborate rooms and put what I wanted in each room. So I totally get that you have big plans, Tully, for your dream house. So it's neat to see how all of ours are a little different, right, for what we want our dream houses to be. So, okay, back to this guy named Job. So Job, he went through a really hard time in his life, and he lost his house, he lost his family, he lost his job, and he got really sick. So basically all these really horrible things happened to Job, and Job was really sad, right, because he went through this really stormy, hard time in his life. And Pastor John talked a little bit about Job's friends, and at first his friends were sitting with him, and they weren't saying much. They were just kind of being there to comfort him. But then his friends started saying really mean, horrible things, like that Job had done something wrong that caused all of these bad things to happen to him, which is not true at all. And so Job had some kind of hard friends. But then at the end of the book of Job, God blessed Job and gave him all of these wonderful things back. A new house, a new family, more cattle and sheep and things like that. And so we talked about the book of Job, and one of the parts of the book of Job is God talking to Job out of this storm. And so I was thinking a lot about this idea of stormy times and thinking about how we go through hard times in our lives for a reason, and it helps us to lean on the Lord. And so there is a story that we're going to read today from the New Testament, and it is about building houses and what happens in a storm. And so it's not a super long story, but it's really important for us to think about, because I think we all go through hard times in our lives, whether it's the whole coronavirus situation and not being able to go to school and having to be, do school from home, or maybe your parents are fighting, or maybe your siblings are fighting, or maybe you're really struggling when you're learning in school, or maybe now that summer's out, you're really bored, and that's hard. So we all go through hard times in our lives, and so we can remember, though, that God is with us and that we need to trust Him and build our lives on a firm foundation. So I am going to read House on the Rock. Oops. All right. So as I'm reading this story, I want you guys to think about what is God trying to teach you from this lesson? Because every time we read the Bible, God is trying to teach us something new, and He wants us to read the Bible, and He wants us to learn more about Him. So as we read this, think about, what is God trying to teach you from this story? And be sure to leave a comment down below with your answer, because it's really neat to be able to talk and learn from one another. So maybe something that you guys learned is something that I didn't think of, or that someone else didn't think of. So, all right, House on the Rock. Jesus liked to teach people by telling them stories. Sometimes He told stories called parables. Through parables, people learned God would help them, especially when things were not easy in their lives. Jesus told this parable about two houses to many people as He sat with them on a mountain one day. I want to tell you about two different people. Each one wanted to build a house. One person was very smart and one was very silly. The smart person built a house on a sturdy rock. Bad weather came. Boom! Echoed the thunder and shook the little house as the lightning streaked across the sky. Plop, plop, plop dripped the heavy raindrops that fell on the roof. Whoosh! Sighed the cold wind as it blew against the walls. The house didn't fall down, though, because the smart person had built it on a sturdy rock. So this is an image of the smart person. And now we're going to get to this guy. Do you guys see what that guy's building his house on? Looks kind of like sand. And this guy built it on this big rock. All right. The silly person built a house on sand, and something very different happened. Bad weather came. Boom! Echoed the thunder and shook the little house, too, as the lightning streaked across the sky. Plop, plop, plop dripped the heavy raindrops that fell off the roof. Whoosh! Sighed the cold wind as it blew against the walls. And guess what happened this time? Because the silly person built the house on the sand, crash! It fell down. If you listen to me, you are building your house, but you are building your life on the sturdy rock of God. If you don't listen to me, you are building your life on ideas that are like the sand that shifts and blows away. When Jesus finished talking, the people on the mountain were surprised by his words. They had never heard stories like that from their rabbis, their teachers, before. Jesus was a wonderful teacher who helped them learn how to always trust God. So there we have that poor silly guy. And what happened to his house, you guys? It is totally gone. He built it on sand. And then over here, who do we have? He's waiting inside the house, super safe. So, I thought that story was just really interesting, thinking about no matter what hard times we're going through, God wants us to build our lives, build our houses on Him. He is a solid rock. He is safe and secure. And so, I have a really cool thing that I'm going to show you before we do our memory verse and our craft. So, here we have an illustration. So, one side, the house is built on the rock, and the other side it's built on the sand. And what is going to happen? We're going to have a storm. So my storm is this little spray bottle. And you guys, this is the coolest thing that we're going to see all day. Okay, so stay tuned. Be watching, be looking. We are going to see a storm happen. And as I'm doing this, be sure to comment below with what did that story teach you about God. All right, I'm going to have it in this little Pyrex because I don't want the floodwaters to get my house, my apartment dirty. So let me see how I can best do this. All right, so we have the house built on sand and the house built on the rock. And here is our spray bottle storm, and let's see what happens. So when we spray the rock, spraying myself, what happens? Nothing. It stays strong. But look what happens, you guys. Oh no! As the storm comes on the house with the sand. The house is disappearing. The house is not strong. It's going away. Do you guys see that? Storm water went everywhere. But there you go. that is a reminder that we need to build our houses and our lives on the solid rock. We need to build our lives on the rock of Jesus. We need to listen to him. We need to obey him, because that is how, when stormy times happen, we can be safe and secure, because we have trusted in God. So I love that illustration, thinking about, where are we building our houses? Are we building it on the firm foundation, the rock of God? Are we building them on this side and building them on sand? And so when hard times come, if we don't have our lives firmly built on the Lord, we're going to wash away and we're not going to make it. So I thought that illustration was really cool, and I found it online as a visual representation of the story. So if you guys want to know how I did that, leave a comment and I can tell you how I did that, and you guys could do it in your own homes. Alright, so if you guys want to know the secret of how I did that, let me know, and I will tell you guys later on in our live. So we are going to practice our memory verse from last week. So last week we, who did we talk about last week? I think it was Sarah and Abraham. And we made our little camels out of envelopes, and we packed them up, and were reminded to trust in God. So trust seems to be a theme as we are going through men and women of the Bible. And so our memory verse was Proverbs 3:5. All right? So can you guys do it with me? Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. So remember, this is our motion for trust. For Lord, you make an L, and it goes from one shoulder down to your hip, like a sash that a king would wear. And then we're doing this for heart. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. All right, can you guys say it with me one more time? Ready? Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Proverbs 3:5. So that was last week's memory verse. And then this week we are memorizing Matthew. So this is where the story came from that we just read from the book of Matthew. All right, so are you guys ready? It says, the house did not fall because the house was built on the rock. And who is our rock? It is Jesus. It is God. And when we listen and obey him, that is us building our house on his solid rock, okay? So let's do the motion. So it's Matthew 7:25. And so this is just like a book, opening and closing, like to represent the Bible. The house did not fall because the house was built on rock. Matthew 7:25. All right, can you guys do that with me? So our motion for house is like this, like we're making a little tent or a roof, right? The roof in both of our little images here reminds us of the little sign. All right, the house did not, and you're going to shake your head no, fall. Okay, the house did not fall because the house, so that same motion, was built on rock, and that's sign language for rock. So it's like you're kind of putting two hands together. Okay, Matthew 7:25. And remember, who is our rock? Our rock is God. Our rock is Jesus. And we can trust in him. No matter what stormy or hard times come, our house will be firm and secure if we have built it on the rock of the Lord. Okay? So the house did not fall because the house was built on a rock. Matthew 7:25. Okay, let's say it one more time, you guys. Say it as loud as you possibly can. Okay? Matthew 7:25. The house did not fall because the house was built on rock. Matthew 7:25. So work on memorizing that Bible verse this week. And it's just so important, you guys, to memorize Bible verses, and these fun, silly little actions help us to remember them. So now what we're going to do is make little houses, okay? So I thought this would be a fun reminder and visual representation of what we learned. I also remember when I was your guys' ages, I loved playing with like little houses and things like that, and setting them up and decorating them. And so I thought this would be cool for you guys to use as you're playing. And then you guys could also make your own visual representation of this story. So you could make two little houses and put one of them on like a rock that you found outside, and then put the other one on a pile of sand and watch, and then pour water on them, and you could visually see how the rock house is going to stand strong. So I thought that might be kind of fun also for you guys to do after our live. So what you're going to need is a toilet paper roll. And what I actually did is I took a paper towel roll that we had and cut it so I have 3 little houses. Okay, so that is going to be the base of our house. And then you need something for the roof. So it would be cute to use a cupcake liner for your roof. So that is one idea for you guys. Or you could also use paper. So let me have a stack of papers. So you could also use a piece of decorative paper to make your roof. And so I'll show you that in a moment. And Tully says, since I have to go, can you send my dad instructions? Yes, I can, Tully. And you can also, these videos are always on Facebook, so you guys can also come back and watch the end of this video to see as well. And then I also put them on YouTube if it's easier for you to watch on YouTube. So yes, you can definitely see and watch and learn how to make our little toilet paper roll houses, Tully. So thanks for joining us this morning, Tully. I'm super glad that you could come. So first though, before adding a roof, we're going to decorate the base of our house. So a few different things that you guys could do. You could take colored paper and cover the whole entire house if you wanted. So that is one way that you could decorate the house, and use tape or glue to tape it to the base. You could also, I have this fun decorative tape called washi tape. And so you could use something sticky. Let me see if I can pull one out. So here are some of my washi tapes. So you could use some sort of colorful tape or duct tape to wrap around your house as well. You could also use paint if you wanted to, but I didn't want to do that today because I just sounded like a bigger mess than I wanted to make today. So you could use paint to cover them, but I actually like the brown because, I don't know, a lot of houses that I've seen are brown. So I'm going to leave mine brown, and then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my colored paper to cut out a door and some windows. So I am going to use probably a variety of different little bits to make doors and windows out of fun colors. So I'm going to start off by using this one. I think that one's really pretty. And so I'm going to cut it into, you could cut it into rectangles or squares. You could also make round windows and doors. So you could cut it like this to make a round window or door, or you could cut circles. Maybe I'll make some circle windows too. So there's kind of a circle. If you wanted to be very precise, oh, here's what I could do actually. You could use your glue stick lid to help you draw a perfect circle. So that might be an idea for you if you are a perfectionist and would like a perfectly shaped circle. Look, using, well, I wouldn't say it's perfect, but using the glue stick lid to cut a circle works. Maybe a little better. Okay, so I've used that color. Now I think I'm going to use this color and cut a few more. So I kind of like the arching windows. I think that's kind of cool. So maybe I'll cut a few more of those. Oops. And we also need to make a door for our house. So maybe I'll use one of these for a door as well on some of my houses. So, oops, I cut that one really crooked. Okay, so now I have a handful of doors and windows. So now I'm going to use my markers and make like little window panes for them. So I'll show you guys. So you could use a pen or a crayon or a marker. So here's one of my little windows, a polka dot window. Maybe it has polka dots inside. Polka dot curtains. That would be kind of fun. Alright. So I have two little windows now for my house. Alright, now I'm going to draw some circle windows. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'll hold these up in a moment. So I have one circle window that's really big and one that's really small. But that's okay. Alright. Here are two little circle windows. Okay, and now I'm going to draw the door. So I think I'm going to use this side. I kind of like outlining them because I think it just makes it a little bit easier to see them. And I think I'm going to give my door a window as well. Like that. Super fun. Alright, so now I'm going to glue the windows and door onto my house. So again, you could totally cover this in paper or stickers or things like that, but I want to just, I don't know, I think the brown looks good. It reminds me more of a house. You could totally make like a rainbow neighborhood and add a bunch of different colors and patterns and houses. So there's my door. Oh, how cute. Such a cute little door on it. All right, and maybe I'm gonna add these two windows like that on either side of the door, and maybe I'll use the round windows on a different house. our little neighborhood is going to be so fun once we're done. So you could make one house. You could also turn these into, like, you could make a hospital and a library and a supermarket. So you can make a whole village out of little tubes. Super cute. So for this house, I am going to use the cupcake liner for the roof. And so what I'm going to do is put the cupcake liner on the top, and then to secure it, I'm going to use tape. And so I'm going to get 2 pieces of tape, and I'm going to flip it over like this, and put a little piece of tape from the top. Let's see if you guys can see this. So I'm attaching it like that and taping it to the roof. And then I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Put it partway on the back, and then fold the roof over and put it partway on the roof. And so now we have our first little house. Oh my goodness, it's so cute. Okay, so now I am going to make a second house. Let's see. Alright, so this is going to be my second house, a little shorter than the last one. And I'm going to use this door this time. I'm going to draw the rest of the door on it. And I think I'm going to draw another little window on the front door. I feel like those are kind of fun. Maybe I'll give it some hinges. There's my other little door. So I'm going to use some tape and add it to my second house. Let's see. Put it here. Alright, so there's my second house with the little door. And maybe I'll just add the big circle window above it. Like that. Wow, the window's almost the same size as the door. But that's okay. These are just for fun little houses to play with. Alright, so now we're going to use some paper to make the roof. So our first house has the cupcake liner roof, and our second little house is going to have some scrapbook paper roof. So all you're going to do is fold it like this and then cut it off. Okay, so then you'll have like a little triangle like that. And then you're going to attach it to your house in a similar way. So you can decide, I think I'm going to do it like this, so you can see the front of my house still. So fun! So basically you're going to do the same thing. Take 2 pieces of tape, and we'll use the tape on either side, and we'll do it just the same way, where we put it partially on the toilet paper tube and partially on the roof. Can you guys see that? And then we're going to do it on the other side. So put it partially on the toilet paper tube and partially on the roof. And we have our second little house. Let's see if I can try and hide the tape a little better. a little wonky, a little funky, but very, very precious. So here are our two little houses. So you guys could use these to make a little demonstration of the house on sand that disappeared and the house on the rock that stood the storm. Or you could use these in playing. So I hope this gave you guys a fun little idea on how to creatively make cute little houses out of things that you guys have probably playing around your own homes. And so I would love to see your little houses if you guys finish them and see how yours turned out and how it's similar and different to mine. So I'm going to say our memory verse one more time. It's Matthew 7:25. The house did not fall because the house was built on rock. And our rock is Jesus, and so I hope you remember that today. So I'm going to close us in prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you for all of our community of Hope families who jumped on and joined us today, and I pray you just bless them and keep them safe, God, and help them to learn more and more about you every single day. Help us, Lord, to trust you. Help us to listen and obey you. Help us to build our lives on you. You, God, are our firm foundation. So no matter what storm happens in our life, like in the book of Job, that we can still be faithful to you because we know you're in control. And we pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. So I thank you guys for joining us for another Kids Church Live. I hope it blessed and encouraged you today. And we'll see you on Sunday for our live worship service. Bye!